Hey Libra, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your July 2025 bonus reading. If you are interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Libra, we are going to look at sacred shifts and divine gifts. What is showing up for you this month? Bottom of the deck, the world. This is powerful. When you have the world, it means that you are closing out a long journey, a chapter that you have endured for a big chunk of your life. This is the final card in the major arcana. So this is completion here, graduation. There's a huge beginning showing up for you. Some of you could be getting married. Some of you may be retiring. You could be traveling here. The world is your oyster. And I do see that you are coming up to a point in your life where you could also be guided to share your wisdom in some way. And I see that there's a beautiful gift coming in for you. So I'm excited to dive in. But first, let's look at messages from your spiritual helpers. You have Lady Venus. Now, Libra, you are ruled by Venus. She brings in downloads and understanding. Libra, truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. Some of you may have undergone recently or in the past, and this could be the cycle that is closing out for you. Some of you have gone through severe loss. You have gone through massive transformation here. There's been endings that have occurred either in the physical sense, the literal sense, and I feel like you are no longer the same Libra that you were prior to undergoing these transformations. It's like the caterpillar and the butterfly. Once you've gone through that cocoon process, once you've gone through the icky, the sticky, you are going to spread your wings. You are going to fly. You're never going to go back and be that caterpillar that you once were, because you have this newfound sense of wisdom, of knowledge, of understanding now that you didn't have prior to going through this change. And Lady Venus is here to help guide you. So call in that powerful Venusian energy for those of you that may need a deeper understanding of your path, your purpose, your mission. And I'm also getting here for those of you that have a loved one in spirit, maybe many loved ones in spirit. Perhaps July holds significance. This could even be a pet in spirit. You may be getting signs and symbols. Now, of course, we're always getting signs and symbols, but this feels significant in some way where perhaps you meet someone who has the same name as a loved one that's crossed over. You may have a song come up on the radio, and maybe it was a song that holds significance for the both of you. There may be an important anniversary or a date or a celebratory energy that shows up, and a loved one wants you to know that you're not alone. So pay attention to your visions, pay attention to your daydreams, and also the messages that come through unexpected sources here. Now you have charity. Charity brings in prayer and contemplation. Connect with heaven, ask, and you shall receive. Some of you may be opening up your skill, your gift of mediumship. Okay, that's coming in for some of you. You could be channelers, healers, and light workers, which the majority of you here on this channel, if not all of you, are in some capacity. And I feel like you have been sending your prayers up to heaven. You've been asking for intervention in some way. You've been asking for a sign or a symbol or a message from a loved one. And I feel like you are going to receive it. There may even be some form of charitable contribution or support or resource that shows up for you, Libra, this month that helps you out of a pinch. This could be like a guardian angel type of energy where someone shows up at the right time to help you. Maybe there's been, a flat tire. Maybe you got a flat tire and you're out in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden someone comes along and they help you change your tire, or they have the resources, the tools that can help you do so, right? It could be that, you are in a bit of a bind and you have a bonus or an influx of money, of cash last minute to pay for something that you need. It just feels like there's a beautiful alignment taking place for you this month. So we have here Green Tara. Green Tara brings with her supreme protection. You are protected. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitation. Trust. You have some really significant endings here occurring. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You have the Death card, you have the 10 of Swords, and you also have the 5 of Cups. This tells me that you have felt it. You've gone through the motions, probably the 5 stages of grief, right? And I see here that you're protected as you release yourself from this energy, because that's what's happening. You absolutely are cutting cords. You're disconnecting, you're releasing. There's a change, there's a turning point, there's a new beginning coming in. And this has been a cycle that you've carried with you for quite some time, but you have the wisdom, you have the experience, you have the courage to start again, whatever that may mean or look like for you, Libra. So let's take a look at what your higher self wants you to know. You have the Death card here. The Death card reminds you that after every ending comes a new beginning. This is massive transformation here, and transformation that brings with it change. And I feel like you are the phoenix. That's the gift that is showing up quite literally, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But you have this ability to rise above the fray, to see things from a higher perspective here. Some of you may have even gone through like a near-death experience in the past. Some of you are recovering from maybe cancer or an illness. Some of you may have brushed the tips of heaven, right? And I feel like you have this deep call to bring about awareness, maybe even share your voice, share your story, connect to the divine in some way. And I see here that life is changing for you quite rapidly, but I actually feel like this transition is divinely inspired. This is something that comes from an ego-less place, meaning the ego is not involved here. You are aligning with your soul self, and I feel like you are releasing yourself from energies that feel tethered or attached to maybe drama or suffering. You are moving outside of that energy here, and it feels like you can help others do the same. You're meant to be that shining light here and hold that energy for other people to kind of meet you where you're at, but it's not going to drag you down. By sharing in that energy, it doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice your own self in some way. Now, the 5 of Cups showing up here as the block or the blind spot, it feels like you have gone through a period of broken heart, betrayal, loss, bitterness, maybe even disappointment. But I feel like this is the turning point where past pain recedes. Hope is emerging here. And some of you may have really felt stuck in this depressive state. Perhaps the grief was very heavy for you. And I see here that Spirit is wrapping you up, hence the blanket that surrounds her. It actually looks like something quite beautiful, like Green Tara would wear. Actually looks like her cloak. So this is the cloak of protection. As cords are being cut, you're moving beyond limitation, meaning past energies that have conditioned you in some way to maybe feel or behave in a certain manner. Those are being released. That energy here is being released because you've gone through that transformative process. Now, what is the mirror? Something ending, all right? Something ending. But look at on this 10 of Swords, you actually see that the tears are watering this flower and there's new growth. This flower is already starting to bud. It's starting to blossom. It's starting to grow. So through some sort of painful experience that you've gone through here, I feel like you get the opportunity to live life in a way that feels more authentic. It feels more real. It feels more raw and vulnerable. Some of you maybe are widowed. For others of you, it feels like there's something that you are bringing about through death. So for example, maybe there's been a loss of a loved one and you could be creating like a fund in their name or like a memorial, or you're living life to the best of your ability for someone who's crossed over. I'm also hearing suicide awareness. So again, please take that as it resonates. Some of you may have gone through this grieving period. Hopefully this doesn't get flagged, but I definitely feel like this could resonate for a couple of you where someone has gone through this tragedy, and you could be raising awareness through some sort of tragedy or loss. And it feels like that is part of your purpose. That is part of your mission. Okay. Now, something is growing from this pain. And for those of you that have gone through an ending of a job and you felt like you were suffering, like where am I going to go from here? Or if this is a relationship where a lot of tears were cried, you know, you've gone through this recovery phase of your life. And what is showing up, what is shifting here for you is you're getting out of maybe the blame game or victim mentality. And instead of saying, why me? You may be saying, why not me? Because this happens to everyone, right? As in, everyone will experience at some point or another an ending, a loss, you know, something painful. And it feels like you are breaking out of that because, again, the 8 of Swords is a shift. She's behind the bars, but you get to unlock yourself, uncage yourself from something that you felt imprisoned with. Now, the 8 of Swords is also about bravery, strength, and courage. It is about you moving beyond limitation here. And instead of questioning your potential or your worth, I feel like you are stepping outside of a comfort zone and saying, why not? What else is possible here? You're holding the key, and the key here is freeing you. Now, what is the key? It's the power of the mind. It's the new story that you are starting to weave into your reality. It is cutting cords, cutting ties with old patterns, old ways of thinking, of victimhood, of, you know, I'm not good enough. It can be perfectionism, rejection, abandonment, or sorrow. And I feel like you are saying, I am protected as I embark upon a new journey. So what is the gift? What's waiting on the other side? I know this is a bit heavy, Libra, a bit heavy, and it's not going to resonate with everyone. But I feel like for those that it does resonate, for those of you that have gone through a big T or a little t, right? Trauma. It doesn't matter if it was something that you may feel like, well, Mel, it wasn't as bad as it could be. It still has affected you or impacted you. And for others of you, you're like, yes, Mel, this was huge. This was a loss. This has transformed me in ways that I'll never be that old version of myself. But I feel like you are liberating yourself in some way. This is the gift. So what's waiting on the other side of this shift? Once you free yourself, some of you may have even felt held down by legal requirements. It almost feels like there's an incarceration happening here where maybe you were tethered to a job. Maybe you felt tied to a marriage. It feels like some sort of contract, maybe in the physical, has bound you, like you were kept in some sort of contract here. But the judgment card as your gift is saying, okay, there's a judgment call. You've done your time in a way, okay? Like you've done your time, meaning you have gone through this process here of renewal, of recovery. You've spent a lot of tears, you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into something, into your own recovery here of some way. And the judgment is saying, it's now time to consider your next move. It's time to consider where you wish to be, because this is redemption. This is life's purpose. This is a passage where you don't have to go back here. Okay? You don't have to go back there. And if you're gonna look back, I feel like there's an appreciation to some degree of what you have overcome, because something has made you stronger. Something has certainly helped you grow and evolve here on this earthly realm, but also spiritual growth, spiritual advancement. And the judgment here is also telling me that there could have even been like a past life soulmate. Sometimes this can be soulmate energy or past life energy where you have wrapped up a soul contract with someone, with a person, with an experience, with a lesson. You're free of this. Okay? Some of you, yes, it's been difficult, but I feel like you're free of this suffering, this pain, this challenge, this struggle. That's the gift. That's on the other side. So what is the integration here? The grounded action or mindset to carry forward the 5 of Swords. This is about you choosing your battles, knowing what to fight for, when to walk away. When the 5 of Swords shows up, this can be arrogance. And perhaps you have dealt with a battle of the egos to some degree. Maybe with someone in your life, perhaps someone was struggling here and it has humbled you. Perhaps you are able to see life through a new lens. And I see that you are releasing the confinements, the restraints of some sort of conditioning, because this oftentimes will show up as manipulation, someone taking advantage. It can be bullying. It can be resentments, but you're walking away from this conflict, or you're walking away from this mental struggle. And I feel by choosing to do so, it resets the tone, it resets the energy, and it helps you, in fact, regulate your own nervous system. So because we have the World and we are wrapping this up, you've gained wisdom. You don't have to go back and repeat something. You don't have to sit in some sort of suffering to prove that you have learned, or, for whatever reason, you have gone through this maybe a little longer than you would have liked to. Look at what's right behind the World. You have the 10 of Cups. There's gratitude here. So you're basically shifting out of the 10 of Swords, and I feel like you're moving into the 10 of Cups. Being grateful. This is the ultimate blessing. The 10 of Cups here is part of your outcome energy. This is the integration here. This is what's bubbling up to the surface. This is what wants to be born into your life. So you are showing up in a way that feels more emotionally fulfilled. You feel more connected to loved ones here. You are feeling more compassionate. Some of you may even be feeling more emotional when it comes to, life. It could even be the littlest things. Maybe it's a commercial that you watch on TV. It could be a movie that moves you, that inspires you, because a lot of you are thawing out from feeling numb or feeling a bit frozen or feeling like you weren't quite sure how to feel even. Maybe there were so many tears. Maybe there were so many shifts that have occurred that your feelings were kind of all out of whack, going every which way. But the 10 of Cups is showing up here in a way that does feel like happiness, bliss, family, community, togetherness, maybe even marriage. Some of you, there's been relationship challenges or struggles or loss, but I feel like you have the ability to open up your heart again. Okay. For others of you, there's been family dynamics that have felt like they've been a bit of a struggle. There's been maybe loss attached to family dynamics, but I feel like there's a sense of completion that is washing over you. And this reading acknowledges, of course, where you have been, but how far you have come in your journey, Libra. And I know, again, it's heavy, especially the first four, even your integration, but this tells me that you're liberating yourself. And I'm getting the name here, Karmala, or even Carmen. And they're showing me the dice. So it feels like, you know, those fuzzy dice that you would see in like hanging from your rear view mirror. Maybe someone has those dice. I mean, I don't even know. Is that legal to have something hang? I'm not sure. But some of you, the dice is going to be a sign of good fortune. It's going to be a sign from maybe a loved one. Maybe someone was a gambler. Okay. Or that could be a sign for you to take a risk in some way, to put yourself out there, like the rolling of the dice. It feels like you're hitting double digits, double numbers here in some way. I'm being actually shown ones. Maybe some of you like to play dice, but I feel like that is significant here. And then also with the wisdom here, this is beautiful. Like I said, it can be a graduation. It can be retirement. You may be contemplating here, you know, making a move because you're tired. You're tired and you're like, okay, I want to live for me. I don't want to work to live all the time. I want to enjoy family time. I need to cut certain things out of my life or certain thoughts or patterns or behaviors because I have a whole world out there to explore. Like I said earlier, the world is your oyster. And if there has been some sort of delayed gratification or a cycle that has felt prolonged, you do have the 10 of Cups showing up. So trust that all is well in divine timing. Libra, that is what I have for you, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for being here, being a part of this journey. If this reading doesn't do it for you, if you're like, Mel, there's no endings here, things are going good, check out your moon or your rising sign. There may be something there for you, or just catch the next Libra reading. Thank you again so much for tuning in today, and I am sending you lots of love.